Alright, so good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of you. We'll discuss again today about the FS analysis, okay? Or eyeball technique. It was developed by my professor in Ateneo, Prof. Eli Aureliado, and of course, uh, I would like to enhance. Of course, Prof. Eli is my idol, is my professor in Ateneo, and I enhance this one, no? So by Prof. J. Manlopo. All right. So, meaning to say, no? So, ano bang ibig sabihin, no? Or what do you mean of the FS analysis or the eyeball technique, no? Meaning to say, it is the easiest way, no? Sabi nga ni Prof. Eli or Prof. Eli Aureliado, no? It is the quick and the dirty way of assessing the health and the profitability of the company. Okay? So why it is eyeball technique, no? It is the quick and the dirty way of assessing the health and the profitability of the company. Okay. So ano bang sinabi, no? So the steps in the eyeball technique, no? So number one now, it is you should look at the current bottom line or or income statement, okay, or the income or loss. Okay? And also very important here is to compare it with the previous year. Okay? And number three, look for any significant changes and why. Okay? So, una-una, very important here is to look for the bottom line. But before that, what is the bottom line is all about? Bottom line is your net income. Now, whether if you have net income or if whether if you have net loss, net income or net loss. Okay? And number two, you compare that with the previous year. No? Mataas ba or mababa ba yung increase or decrease of that particular bottom line? No? And number three, look for any significant changes and why. Tumaas ba yung net income because there would be expansion? Bumaba ba yung net income because there's a COVID-19 or any pandemic, di ba? Or any other reasons, no? Okay. And number four, look at the retained earnings. So we go now, 1, 2, and 3 is more on the income statement. And number four, look at the retained earnings. No? And it is part of your balance sheet. Positive or deficit ba? Baka kasi positive, meaning to say, okay naman yung company or yung deficit. And number five, very important also is look at the stockholders' equity. Is the company ba positive or capital deficient? And the last one, very important for number six is look for the cash flow of the operating in the cash flow statement. My question, what is cash flow from operating? Meaning to say, it is your day-to-day operations. It is your operating cycle. Positive ba or positive ba yung or negative ba or positive ba yung ating cash? Okay? Yan. The preceding steps, number one, number six should indicate the overall profitability. Meaning to say, ito pala, yung number one and number one to number six is the overall profitability of the business. Okay. Number seven, look at your current assets no in the balance sheet. If you notice, in my previous video, no, I've discussed about the current liabilities. It is the current ratio. That would be your current assets divided by your current liabilities. No? Dapat daw, it should be 2 is to 1. Meaning to say, if it is 2 is to 1, mas malaki is your current assets with your current liabilities. Higher, current assets should be higher than your current liabilities. And number 8, and that would be your asset test ratio. You compare your cash, receivables, marketable securities, or short-term investment to your current liabilities. Okay lang daw that it is 1 is to 1 because it is part of your asset test or quick asset ratio. Number 9, compare your debt with your equity. Okay? So very important here is to compare your debt with your equity in the balance sheet. Baka kasi too much debt, no? Ang dami mong utang, 'di ba? Okay, ibig sabihin you are risky. You are risk, no? Or you consider risk. You are risky, no? And number 10, look at your cash flow from the investing and financing activities in your cash flow statement, no? Is cash is being generated? Baka tayo ay more on you purchase more fixed assets pero ang dami mong utang. there is no capital infusion. All right. Do the same procedures for the previous year and any of the significant changes and why. No? So that's more no about the solvency no or the going concern of the business. The preceding steps 7 and number 10 should indicate as discussed kanina, liquidity and solvency. Alright. So next one, no, as part also of the eyeball technique, very important here is how to assess no or assessing the operating cycle. No? Number one, determine the days in the inventory, determine also the days in receivables. Okay, so if you add that one, no, as discussed in my previous discussion, that would be your operating cycle. And number four, do the same in the previous year, and if there would be any significant changes, ano ang nangyari, no? So what would be the other tool and techniques no for the eyeball technique, no? After doing this, number one, do more refined analysis using the ratios as discussed also in my previous discussion, no? About DuPont, about profitability, about the activity ratios, about the vertical analysis, the common size, about the or the analysis, no? The increase or decrease of the particular interpretations of the assets, okay? Or trend analysis, okay? Other notes, no? Ano pa yung mga after the eyeball technique, no? Read the notes to FS. And that's the most important of all, no? Basahin mo kung ano yung nasa FS natin. And number three, benchmark against the industry. Ano yung benchmark, no? You read also the competitor. Yan. And number four, use the other relevant informations. Okay? So, that's why in terms of your eyeball technique, no? So, very important here is to know first, no? What do you mean of cash flow statement? And from the cash from the operating, meaning to say it is from your day-to-day operations, cash flow from investing, that would be your invest, no? You invest. And also about your financing activities. That would be saan ba sources of your funds? Pwedeng liability or pwedeng equity. Okay. So again, as discussed also kanina, no? So balance sheet as revisited again, your asset is equals to liabilities plus equity. In terms of your assets, you have your current and non-current assets. Your liabilities same, also current and non-current. And also we have our stockholders' equity. You have your common or ordinary shares, preference shares, and your retained earnings. So review lang tayo class ha. Okay, so ito lang yung kanina. Okay. So of course the balance sheet here, no, as part of your operations or cash flow from operations yung nasa gitna, your day-to-day operations. How about naman in terms of the investing if you purchase your property and equipment, and that would be your non-current or your property, plant and equipment. If you have naman financing, again it would depends whether you will avail of loan or you will accept business partner. Okay? And also, very important also is the capital budgeting naman, no? Your asset is equal to liabilities plus equity. So, we will discuss more about capital budgeting soon, no? Okay? In my previous video, no, I discussed about our capital budgeting, and also we have your capital structure. Just go to my video, no, about cost of capital, no? And so maybe that would be the end of my discussions now about the eyeball technique developed, and of course it was developed by uh, my professor, no, my idol in Ateneo, no, the former BOA Board of Accountancy commissioner, no, Prof. Eli Aureliado, and just and some I just enhanced it, no, to be updated. So again, thank you very much and hope to see you soon. Bye bye.